Well, today, everybody, I figured we'd sit down and talk about what is probably your guys' favorite guitar that I own. Probably, if not one of the most famous guitars that I own. Let's talk about my Jim Root Strat and what I'm going to call the greatest Stratocaster of all time. So today's video is going to be a lot of fun, man. A little trip down memory lane, a little update video on this guitar, and above all, just having the opportunity to hang out with you guys and talk about guitars, Stratocasters, Fender, Jim Root, EMG pickups, and anything in between. Today's just going to be a lot of fun, okay? So if you haven't done so already, be sure to like this video. It just helps out the almighty YouTube algorithm. Be sure to follow me on Spotify and any sort of streaming service. I got a lot of great music coming out here in 2024, and I can't wait to share it with you all. And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. This channel is so sick, and I love creating on this channel. And in all seriousness, man, it's just a joy to just hang out with you guys every single time I sit down, turn on the camera, and just start running my mouth about my favorite thing in the world, that is guitars, okay? So be sure to do all those things. And with that being said, let's get into the topic at hand. So why am I making this video today? What's the deal? Because I've had this guitar on the channel for such a long time, right? You longtime viewers have seen this guitar in hundreds of videos probably. Well, the reason specifically I want to make a video on this guitar today is because I just got off of the road between 2 tours over the last 3 months, and I've played, I counted them, 47 shows with this guitar every single day. Not to mention playing this guitar, well, this body and this neck, we'll get to that, this body and this neck for give or take 6 or 7 years. So, you know, I've had a lot of mileage on this guitar, but more specifically and recently, I did 2 full US tours with this guitar. And this guitar, everybody, is a beast when it comes to live playing. So first off, I had this guitar in drop A sharp when I was touring with the band For the Fallen Dreams. You know, legendary metalcore band For the Fallen Dreams. All their old stuff was on a 6-string and it was in drop A sharp. And I used this guitar every single night for give or take 7 songs, if I remember correctly. You know, just legendary songs that, you know, FTFD put out when I was in middle school and high school and stuff like that. So to be able to play those songs on this guitar was an absolute dream. Then immediately got off that tour, came home and moved into this new space that's being set up, and does it look sick. I got more to show you guys here in the future, but staying on topic right now, immediately went out and started touring with the solo artist, Elijah, who's all over SiriusXM, Octane Channel 37, and that dude is taking off. And I just want to say right now, I'm so thankful to be along for the journey, and just, yeah, I enjoy playing his music, and I enjoy sharing the stage with him and the boys. So, yeah, just what an honor to be able to do that right now. That's my life, and I'm super thankful for that opportunity. But this guitar was played on every single song except one during the Elijah set for 34 shows, literally all over the country for give or take 6 or 7 weeks. And on this most recent tour, this is where this guitar really shined, because with all due respect to Elijah's music versus FTFD, Elijah's music's a lot easier to play. And that's not like taboo or like a negative thing. It's just, you know, matter of fact. It's more about the vocal performance and not necessarily about like, watch me nail this super technical riff, right? I mean, there's some tricky parts here and there, but you guys know what I'm saying generally, right? So what I was really able to do with this guitar is perform with this guitar, and call it how it is, throw it the around on stage and play the out of it and be so aggressive and put on the best performance that I possibly could and really lean into my stage presence. You know, if I could speak highly of myself for a brief moment, I always try to stay as humble as possible. But I'm not the most technical player in the world, but I will say I put on a damn good show. My whole shtick, my whole stage persona is to put on a fucking show for the people who paid the money to see the show. You know, people who come to see Elijah, they're not wanting his band to nail the guitar part. You know what I'm saying? It's like a totally different beast. They're there to watch Elijah sing and perform and scream his head off and just be a beast of a frontman. And the background is his band, you know, me being a part of that. So, you know, not to take away from Elijah's performance, but in the background, I want to put on a fucking show to make him look good and make all the boys look good on stage, so we all collectively and cohesively can be, you know, a serious unit on stage, because Chris, Brandon, Elijah, those dudes just crush it from a performance standpoint. So it's like, it's my job and my responsibility to match their level and their professionalism, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, I like to stay humble, but it's okay to be proud of what I do. I put on a damn good performance, and I was able to really channel that through this guitar.
Don't be scared. No mercy, no goodbye. Don't care if I'm dead or alive. If I had the chance to rewind, I cut you off, take back what's mine.
You know, I always heard like artists like Hendrix and EVH and, you know, Stevie say like, oh, the guitar is an extension of me. And I always never really understood that growing up and, you know, watching my favorite DVDs or VHSs or whatever the fuck. But now that I'm doing it and performing, and I've got about like, I don't know, give or take 150 shows under my belt in the last year and a half, something like that, I really understand what that means. Like, the energy comes through the player into the guitar, and out of the guitar comes the energy into the form of sound. It's kind of trippy, it's kind of out there, but I truly understand what that means. And this guitar, man, did not disappoint in the slightest, and anything and everything that I threw at it in terms of just like sheer aggressive playing just responded so beautifully, man. And as you can see, this thing has seen better days, right? It has been beat to shit. And in most recent memory, over the last give or take 2.5, 3 months, I've seriously beaten the out of this thing when playing and just traveling with it. And let me tell you, everybody, this guitar has not faltered in the slightest. The only time it did was at the end of a show. It's my own dumb fault. The battery died. But apart from that, in terms of like tuning, just reliability in general, sonic quality, this thing is so rock solid, and I do not treat this thing nicely. It's always wet. I'm always soaking wet. I kind of take on the Mick Thompson persona. I throw it around. I accidentally slam it into cymbals when I'm spinning. You know, Chris, the drummer of Elijah, he's always kind of like to my back right-ish on our stage plot, and I would spin and I'd accidentally like catch his cymbals, and I would just ding it up. But like, you know, all that encompassing, I'm not necessarily purposely trying to do that, but like I am purposefully trying to beat the out of it and give a good show and a good performance, and, you know, do my job and play the part. This guitar did everything beautifully in that sense.
This is healing.
So in case you guys are unfamiliar with what this guitar is, let's catch up to speed and do a little, you know, guitar nerdy specs here. This is a 2014 white body. It originally had the maple neck, but then I swapped it out with a 2018 neck. So I had two Strats back in the day. OG viewers remember this. I had a black one and then, you know, the white one with the, you know, correct fingerboards and necks. So I swapped them a long time ago, and then I sold off the body, or I painted the body actually, and then I sold off the maple neck, which I kind of regret, but, you know, it is what it is. But long story short, I kind of made it more, you know, in vein of, you know, Jim Root's actual like aesthetic on stage, right? We have no volume knob. We still have the volume pot, but the knob kept coming loose. So I was like, you know what, f this, dude. So like somewhere along the way, and I guess maybe last year or maybe early this year, I took that thing off. And if you notice, there's a big giant hole here. and I took out the neck pickup when I was on tour with FTFD. I took it out in Milwaukee. I was doing maintenance, and for whatever reason, I was just like, man, this. I don't need this thing. I never play on the neck pickup anyway, so I just ripped it out. It doesn't look very good, but I love the way it looks in that sense. It looks very like DIY punk rock. You know, it's not pretty. I mean, look at this thing. It's not pretty. I put the eye screws in it, you know, with the straps, etc., man. So I've done a lot of things to this guitar, and I've made it look how it looks, all organically, with a little divine intervention. I'm not saying I'm, you know, the most careful with this thing, but all that encompassing, man, like this guitar is mine, and it has been beat just through everything that I've thrown at it. Another thing that's really cool, take a look there. See like that dark kind of ring on the body there? Well, what's happening is there's like a clear coat. There's the paint, a clear coat, and then the wood, where the clear coat is starting to wear through as well. And then this body is starting to absorb the moisture of me playing and my sweat and all that. So it's like changing the color of the wood. So like that black ring, it looks like almost like binding or something. But that's just me just soaking it literally every single night in water and sweat and whatever else, you know what I'm saying? So like I love that so much. It's such a cool little thing that like, again, organically happens. It's also getting down there as well. Like anytime I do a spin and I don't have to play, I'll grab the guitar here and throw it around. So like my hand going here several times a night, and like the moisture stays there. Like that's such a cool thing, dude. And every nick and ding is a memory. Here's one of my favorite ones right here, where the paint's kind of bubbled up a little bit and kind of flaking off. Knox, the FTFD photographer, he was hired for the job. He lit it on fire with his lighter. He was like smoking a cigarette or whatever, and he just like took his lighter, and like I think he was like kind of joking about it. I was like, nah, dude, go ahead, man, send it, you know, let's see what happens. And he like held it there and, you know, kind of caught on fire. Like that's nuts and stupid. I'm not naive to that, but it's a memory. Like every time I see that little mark there, I think of Knox, you know, wherever you're at, Knox, if you're watching, love you, bud. And then I've got like these scratches here in Albany, New York. Michael, the manager of Elijah, took it, and similar thing. He kind of like, there was like a concrete pillar outside, and he like kind of jokingly like went up to it and like was gonna ding it. I was like, sure, go ahead, man, do it. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, why not? So like, you know, I have those marks from him. So like, I don't know, this thing's become like an art project as much as it is like my favorite, most reliable guitar and like the greatest Stratocaster I've ever played. So this thing has a ton of memories attached to it, just with every imperfection, everything I've done to it, all the videos I made with it, etc., etc. And now to kind of more or less address the literal title of this video, the greatest Stratocaster of all time, I'm going to call it that because this thing just sounds amazing. It's the best Strat I've ever heard from my own ears and my own experience. Now this guitar is very unique to normal Stratocasters because one, it has a mahogany body and it has a hardtail. Now, I really don't know if tone wood's a real thing. You know, people on the internet are saying that it's not. It's been kind of disproven, and I totally understand that. But where I'm kind of confused is like, out of all the Strats I've played, most of them have been alder or like ash, or like maybe even one was like pine, like the American Pro 2. Remember that thing? And the black one too, but all the mahogany Strats that I've played always sound the best. I don't know if that's coincidental. I don't know if it's because it's a hardtail or what, but long story short, this guitar always sounds the best and really is the best Stratocaster that I've ever played, not only just from reliability, but also too from a sonic standpoint. But all in all, everybody, yeah, this is the greatest Stratocaster of all time. I absolutely love this guitar. I put it away for a while to kind of get away from the Slipknot stereotype that I was certainly doing to myself and pigeonholing it. But now that I'm, you know, pretty far removed from that and, you know, doing my own thing and have been doing my own thing for several years now, and now being fortunate enough to, you know, play on the road and, you know, do the thing that I've always dreamed of, this guitar right here is certainly my favorite guitar again, and it is the most reliable, stable, it's the coolest one, you know, all that encompassing, man. I love this guitar so, so much. And yeah, today I just wanted to sit down and share it with you all.
So
So everybody, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like this video, subscribe, follow me on Spotify, leave a comment down below. It really helps out the algorithm. I hope you enjoyed me just hanging out and just sitting down talking to you guys. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.